All right, we're live. Hey there, folks. This is Brant Ramblin' with Ranj, and you are watching a new episode, or another episode rather, of Misdiagnosis, a show that myself and Nikki Powell do. Nikki is a board-certified nurse in the state of California. I'm not a board-certified anything, so every once in a while,
You're
Nikki
just
will
board
throw.
certified.
Oh no, I'm not. No board would take me. Um, let me into the exam room. Never mind to take the test. So she will give me a some sort of medical term or disease or whatever, and I will define it to the best of my ability, and then she's going to tell me exactly how right I am. So Nikki, are you ready?
I think I'm ready. I came prepared. Did
Ooh.
you study today?
I have a pen and I have paper, so I
All
think
right.
I think I've got everything I need to solve this one.
Nice. Okay. So let's get started.
Sure.
Today's misdiagnosis is hyperemesis gravidarum.
Okay, lay that one on me one more time.
Hyperemesis
Uh,
gravidarum. Two
gra-
words.
gravidarum. Oof,
So,
man.
do you want to write that down? Do you want me to spell it out for you?
No, yeah, I got it down. It's just, it's one of
Okay.
these things where I feel like every time that you throw something at me, I'll have a, I'll just happen to have a story of how it's impacted my life in some sort of way. I have a friend. I have a friend who lives in Asia. He's an Asian friend of mine. He suffers from this. Gravidarum obviously has to do with your balance, your center of gravity. I mean, I took Latin for a semester and a half, so I understand these kind of root words that
Mm-hmm.
that other people might,
All right.
get wrong.
So you can break it down for me.
Yeah, it's hyperesis or I forget about
Hyperemesis. Gra-
emesis. See, emesis actually. See, we're going Latin again. Emphasis on the gravity. He's very off balanced. What causes this is one side of the body, the bones are denser and so heavier than the other side of the body in a hyper way, in a very 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 exaggerated kind of fashion. It causes you to kind of stumble all around. It's kind of sad to see when you get it. Problem
mm-hmm.
is, really only happens it starts showing itself more in adolescence. So like in the beginning, you don't know if the kid's just really kind of poor walking, and then once you get, of course, the diagnosis, which is terrible, then you realize it's going to be a lifelong affliction. And Nikki, what's interesting is I know how to solve this one.
You do. Okay.
I do. Because so we're talking about a bone density problem, right? So one
Uh-huh.
side of the body is biologically heavier than the other side of the body. They invented it's called the Q boot, and it is a boot that kind of they calibrate it. You know that you go to the doctor, you stand on a scale on one side and a scale on the other side. They calibrate this boot at the right weight, and so the body, of course, reaches a state of equilibrium now with
Mhm.
your center of gravity is rearranged a little bit, and you can walk normally, which is I think
Ah,
it's a
fascinating.
miracle. And I think that it is a sign that modern medicine has reached a certain peak. I'm very happy about this.
Yeah, that's a good
Excellent, right?
conclusion you came there to. I love it. Unfortunately, you're extremely wrong, and
How extreme?
since your male friend had this, I'd be extremely worried since it's a pregnancy complication. Uh,
Really?
yes, it's characterized by chronic nausea, vomiting, and dehydration during pregnancy. So hyperemesis is excessive vomiting. Emesis is medical word for bleh, throw up, you know.
Hmm.
So the main cause basically remains unknown. Many factors, though, they can contribute, like including genetics. You know, if your mom had it, you have it. Body chemistry, overall health during your pregnancy. Um, so it's definitely not bones. During pregnancy, your body chemistry changes, and this is an adverse reaction of that. So when this occurs and it's inadequately treated, many complications can occur, including anemia, which is a decrease in red blood cells or hemoglobin in your blood, hyponatremia, which we learned about last episode, which is a decrease in sodium in the blood, kidney failure, which can be fatal, and low blood sugar, malnutrition, blood clots. There's a lot of stuff that can happen from it, none of which in the skeletal system.
No bones?
No, no bones. So complications on the fetus also occur, usually low birth weight, premature birth, or if it's not treated, or if it's really, really bad, um, death, can
That's
happen.
rough.
Yeah. Not only in the fetus, but also in the mom, depending. You might be able to save the baby, but not the mom, or vice versa. So management and treatment during this is not a boot, unfortunately. Not that
Damn.
easy. Yeah, I know. So depending on the severity of it, they start with like a diet change to bland foods and oral rehydration. So they'll give you like Pedialyte and water and crackers and rice and stuff that's not going to upset your stomach. But if that doesn't help, then they give you an IV. They pump you full of nutrients and electrolytes, and sometimes they even need to give you nutrition through the IV. So if it's not being treated that way, if it's not helping, then evacuation of the fetus might be necessary. Sometimes
Hmm.
the baby is big enough to survive it, other times not. Usually it goes away after the first trimester, but on occasion it'll persist through the pregnancy, and if kidney failure occurs, then premature evacuation of the fetus is most likely needed, depending on the gestation, and the infant may not make it. So definitely not what your male friend in Asia had. I apologize.
Has nothing to do with the center of gravity. It seems like.
Nothing to do with center of gravity. You might get dizzy, and that might attribute to it. Maybe that's what you were thinking of,
You know
relating it
what?
to
It has been a little
dizziness
while
of
since
dehydration.
since I was made a doctor in my own
Yeah,
mind. Well, Nikki, thank you very much for
you're
setting
welcome.
me straight. I think the folks at home probably learned something and are
I hope
laughing
so.
at me.
Yeah.
So Nikki, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at HarleyQuinn103 on Twitter, Instagram, PSN, and you can find me on the Lipstick Nerds podcast and on the Ridiculous Rants podcast.
That's excellent.
Also here.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Because if you
Right.
weren't here, it'd be a really weird show.
People would be falling over all over the place.
Yeah, it's center of gravity. It'll get you. Got to get a boot. I'm your host Brent Ramblin' Fringe. You can find me on Twitter at brange. You should listen to It'll Come Back. I promise the Minor League Geeks podcast, which Nikki will also be on.
Woo.
And then you can catch up with my writing at readretro.com, which is a wonderful website. And until next time, it's one of those the more you know things. You started off a little dumber than you ended up, hopefully. So later.